Alrighty guys, CJ here again. So I felt kind of bad because this week you guys were really only going to get 2 different shows from us when really you should at the very least be getting 3 on a weekly basis. And for all the crap that happened during our somewhat hiatus, but not really. So I figured I'd take this time, now that I have it, to record this episode of A History of Comic Heroes, which is going to be a mailbox episode because, well, a lot of you keep sending me the same email, and so that we know, all the questions in this will be related to A History of Comic Heroes, and your names will not be mentioned in this episode, mainly because some of you have asked the same questions, and to keep your personal identity a secret. Alrighty, here we go. Can you do a show on My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic? No. And no, I'm not just saying that because I really dislike My Little Pony. I mean, I really dislike My Little Pony. Seriously, I would rather rewatch all 3 or 4 of the Michael Bay Transformers movies. So, yeah. Than ever sit down and watch My Little Pony ever. However, with that being said, that's not the only reason why I'm saying no. The main reason I'm saying no is because My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic originated on TV, and this is called A History of Comic Heroes, not A History of TV Heroes. This would also include comic book characters such as the ones from Star Trek, Star Wars, the J.J. Abrams alternate Star Trek universe comic books, Doctor Who, Adventure Time, and whatever other ones have fallen under there. Can you do an episode on Wonder Woman? I'd love to, but here's the thing. Believe it or not, Wonder Woman is the only DC character I really know nothing about. I mean, I seriously know nothing about this character, aside from the fact that the person who created her also invented the lie detector, but that's only because I had to do a 8th grade essay on that guy, so yeah. So a episode of Wonder Woman probably not going to happen anytime soon. Unless if Sheldon or Sam or Noah happen to be reading it. So, yeah. Could you do an episode on Spider-Man? Which Spider-Man? You have to remember, there's now, if I remember correctly, 3 if we're going with just the people who've used the title of Spider-Man. There's the Peter Parker Spider-Man, there's the Doc Ock Spider-Man, or Octospider, and there's the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Which, if it's Miles Morales you're talking about, then yeah, sure, I think I could probably do that. I mean, his series isn't that far in that it'd be impossible to catch up, whereas with Peter Parker, it, well, would be. Outside of the main events that happen, like the death of Gwen Stacy in the black spider suit, I really don't know much about Peter Parker's history. Oh, that and apparently Doc Ock tried to marry Aunt May at some point, which, you know, okay, sure. So, asking me to do that, probably not the best idea. The person you should ask, though, would be Noah or Sheldon, because they know a lot about Spider-Man. And, in all honesty, to get one of them over to my place to record an episode of this probably wouldn't be that hard. Just saying. Who's your favorite comic book superhero? Okay, that's kind of unfair, because there are so many different comic book companies, and each company has their own good hero. So I'm going to list them my company. DC. Batman, obviously. Jason Todd. Dr. Fate. And, of course, Alan Scott. No, you get the hell out of here. This Alan Scott. I mean, this one isn't bad either. Just, no. Go away. Go sit in the corner. Marvel. Okay, you guys have to remember, I grew up in the 90s. And in the 90s, Marvel's reputation was, well, it's not what it was today. To put this in bigger perspective, I really didn't read that much of Marvel's comics. I mean, a lot of them were really, really bad during that decade. I did, however, enjoy reading X-Men and occasionally Thor or the Silver Surfer. I was more, however, in tune with the Silver Surfer cartoon, which was actually, now that I've gone back and read most of the comics, was actually very closely tied to the original comic books, which is pretty good. And in all honesty, in my opinion anyways, I think that was a really smart move for Marvel to do. What I also think was a really smart move is for them not to include this in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. Just saying. Image. Really, Image, I'd have to say anyone from Invincible. Seriously, if you guys have not picked any Image title, Invincible is one you need to pick up. Valiant. Valiant is really tricky, mainly because they're one of the few companies that haven't been repeating themselves for the past 30 or 40 some odd years now. But I do have to say, right now, my two favorites would be Shadowman and Eric from X-O Manowar. Shadowman, it's, well, duh, jazz, New Orleans, do I really need to say anything else? And, well, Eric, well, I'm Scottish, the Visigoths were Celtic, so yeah, that kind of draws the whole picture right there. IDW. I've never really gotten too far into their original series. Oh, Rocketeer. Rocketeer. That's awesome. Seriously, you guys, if you have a thing for steampunk and 1930s nostalgia, Rocketeer, all the way. Is this show only for comic book heroes or supervillains as well? No, it can be for both, just as long as they originated in comic books. For example, this week I did one on Parallax. In case you guys haven't gone to watch that, you can find that in the description box down below. What would be your dream job when it comes to comics? Well, I can't draw and my writing is so I'd say at the very least being PR for either DC, Marvel, Valiant, or any of the other big name comic book companies that are out there right now. What would be the one thing you'd like to direct as a movie? Okay, this is kind of off topic, but it does relate to what I want to direct. A faithful rendition of the Batman. No, seriously, look back at all the movies. The most faithful rendition of Batman is the Adam West movie and TV show, which is still why it holds up so well, I guess. Okay, well, that was interesting. We're gonna have to do that again sometime soon. I'm CJ, and thanks for tuning in.